Welcome to the Writer Reads Short Stories. This is of Cats and Colonies, Part 4. He glanced at Delight and Pritchard, then waved a hand at Donovan. Odyssey will not always be so close to call. Delight smiled. About that, whoops, about that, she began, and indicated Donovan. The wolves of Luna 1 seek refuge. Tika stared at her, and another 2 hours of wrangling ensued. By the end of it, agreement had been reached. The two colonies would become a single colony of 3. All colonists would learn defense. Odyssey would provide security in return for permission to establish a joint research facility. And Tika would learn to fly. What? She asked, the announcement shocking her from meeting-induced fatigue to full wakefulness. I apologize again, Morrow told her, and indicated the door, which obligingly slid open to reveal an overexcited bundle of yellow fur in the cat medic's arms. As he stepped into the room, the dark-eyed doctor lost his grip on the cub, and whoops, Jera launched from chest height. Tika and the cub's mother leapt to catch him and became twin statues as he unfurled 2 glittering wings and glided to the floor. Mama, Mama, I flew! The cinnamon Korovi knelt to gather the cub in her arms, her voice husky with emotion. Yes, son, you did. Tika closed her mouth and looked from mother and son to the dark-eyed man in the doorway. In return, he gave her a sweet, almost sad smile and shifted, but not into the werecat she expected. The darkness in his eyes should have warned her, but she'd never heard of dragons the size of ponies or the color of jet, and judging from the gasps behind her, she wasn't alone. He moved into the room, flared his wings, and then tucked them behind his back as he shifted into a man-sized hybrid with wings and claws and a hide that glittered with ebony scales. And then he shifted again, taking the form of a man and accepting the robe tossed at him through the conference room door. We'd have mentioned it earlier, Morrow told her, glaring at Delight, but we've only just learned of it ourselves. He indicated the cub now sitting on the floor, wings furled as he refused to take human form. Korovi have been blessed with a somewhat flexible genetic system, but the dragons. Morrow rolled his shoulders in a shrug. Well, legends are all we have to go on. However, my understanding is that they make our genes look rigid by comparison. But, Tika began, she'd been intending to ask what all this had to do with her, and Morrow smiled. The cub bit you, did he not? Tika's legs turned rubbery, and she glanced over her shoulders as though expecting wings to sprout from her back. They didn't, and she looked from Morrow to the draconic doctor. How long? The doctor shrugged. Jera is 4, and this is the first time they've formed. Only time will tell. But they will form, Tika pressed, and he glanced at Delight. She nodded. You knew? Not until Scanth calmed me, Delight told her, and I had to represent Odyssey's interests in this venture. Your DNA results were very interesting. Tika swayed, and Pritchard came alongside her, tossing Delight another scolding glance. She rolled her eyes at him and watched as he helped Tika to her seat. You couldn't have told me before, Tika managed when she was sitting. Delight shook her head. Not without postponing the meeting, and the explorer's dream has a schedule to keep. Odyssey will be assisting in the colony setup to get them back on track. She turned to the gaping contingent on board the colony seed ship. I take it that's acceptable, she asked, her tone warning them it might not be too. Whoops. I take it that's acceptable, she asked, her tone warning them it might be too bad if it wasn't. They nodded, their expressions stunned, and Delight gave them a predatory smile. Very good. If you'll all sign and add your thumbprints to the documents on your screens, we'll adjourn for the evening and reconvene tomorrow. Again she received dumbfounded nods, and they did as she asked. As the last of them finished, Tika saw their eyes shift to the end of the conference table, and slowly she followed their gazes, just in time to see Jera. And who else would it have been but Jera? Gold-furred, fluffy, and full of excitement, as he leapt from the table's end and spread his wings. Mama, Mama, I can fly! And on behalf of Odyssey, Delight told the contingent on the screen, I promise this colony will receive all the aid and protection it needs in order to be able to fly as well.